Well, we've gone final in Los Angeles, and the big blow came in the second inning. Top two bases loaded, 2 outs, and Mark Vientos with a deep drive to right center field, and that ball's gone for a grand salami. That puts the Mets up 6-0. Then we move on to the ninth. Dodgers down 7-3. Edwin Diaz gets Freddie Freeman swinging, and that's going to seal it. This series now tied at a game apiece. Game 3 set for Wednesday. That one's coming from Citi Field. This NLCS Game 2 recap is presented by Enterprise, and for more, we are glad to be joined by CBS Sports MLB analyst and former Mets manager Bobby Valentine. And Bobby, what a response from the Mets here on Monday after being shut out in Game 1, 9-0, and the catalyst for this one was none other. We talked about it yesterday. We talked about Francisco Lindor. He set the tone with that leadoff home run. Just how big was it for Lindor to come through in that spot?
Well, that was big, without a doubt. But, you know, to just dismiss some of the early myths about this series, the Dodgers have great pitching. That's wrong. Hey, the Mets got shut out. Hey, they don't have good pitching. I mean, good hitting. That's wrong. So now they're on even grounds, 1 game each, going back to New York. I don't know that this series even gets back to L.A. because New York's going to grab the momentum with their pitching, with Lindor, with their grit, with the, oh my God, group of guys that just don't worry about winning. They just go out and play.
I want to talk about momentum in a second, but first, in the second, we talked about Mark Vientos, who's just been an absolute sensation for the Mets since he was called up from AAA, delivering that game-breaking grand slam. But just what's your thoughts on not only that moment, but just how clutch Vientos has been all season long?
Yeah, Kay, you mentioned sensation, you know, and sometimes that makes you think that it's something that's not real, you know, it just kind of popped out of the bottle. But this young hitter has the absolute perfect mechanics to take an inside fastball and hit it to right center field, and to hit the off-speed pitch to left field as consistently as he does. He's a true big league hitter in his first year in the playoffs and in the major leagues.
Yeah, and then the Mets offense did its part, but so did Manaea. He goes 5 innings before being pulled in the 6th, gives up 2 earned. But what was working for him on Thursday?
Well, you know, he's so deceptive and different. You know what sells? You're first, you're different, or you're best. Well, he's neither of the first two, but he's really different. Throws from the side, has an approach to the hitter that's not seen very often. It takes some time with that crossfire action. The stuff is rather average in velocity and spin rate, but the delivery is so unique, it's very difficult to pick up. Next time around might be a little easier. Come game, I guess that would be 5.
Looking ahead already, but now I want to take you to the bottom of the 6th of this game here on Monday night. Dodgers have the go-ahead run at the plate, and Phil Maton gets Kike Hernandez to ground out into a double play. But what were your thoughts on the Mets escaping that inning the way that they were able to do that?
That's the magic that they've had all year. You know, you have a guy who's been really hot in postseason, great awards given to him because of his clutch hitting. He comes up with the bases loaded, and he hits into a double play. That just shows you the Mets have their mojo. You know, a bloop over first base there and 2 runs in shows that it's gone. But for Maton, who's a question mark out of their bullpen, to get out of that jam was crucial in this game.
I want to talk about the other side of the things. The Dodgers, obviously ravaged by injuries due to their starting rotation. But just what were your thoughts on them deciding to go with a bullpen game for Game 2?
Well, they didn't work out very well, so that's easy to say. But, you know, the bullpen that they pitched, that's not their good bullpen, if you will. That's not their A group. But they did lose a game here, and to try to come out with that act again in the playoffs, it's just not going to play on this stage. So I think that the Dodgers are reshuffling the deck, and I think the Mets have all their cards in order.
Hey, remember we were talking about momentum just a few moments ago, because now this series shifting to Citi Field. Tied up at 1 apiece, Mets will be sending Luis Severino to the Hill on Wednesday. What do you want to see from him?
Well, you know, what we're doing on Wednesday when Soriano goes out there is you have a very young, healthy pitcher against a comeback guy who really doesn't have what it takes. I saw him pitch at the end of the season, and Walter Buehler is short right now, and his stint might be short, and that might tax the Dodger bullpen. But you remember that the net hitters are quality hitters, and they're going to hit this group of pitchers that the Dodgers have coming their way.
Bobby, we spoke just ahead of game 1, and I asked you to pick this series. You had the Mets in 6. So now that we are 2 games in, this series is split. It's heading back to Citi Field. And now I got to put you on the hot seat again. Are we sticking with that pick?
Going to Mets in 5.
Wait, we're taking it down to 5.
Yeah,
how do we go from 6 to 5?
they're not coming back to L.A.
Give me the rundown. What gives you that confidence?
Well, I just think when the Dodgers look around their clubhouse, they look around and say, this doesn't feel and look like a championship team. And I think when the Mets look around their clubhouse, they say, well, most of the guys say, well, we don't really know what a championship team looks like, but we think this is it. And that's really momentum moving forward.
They've got the momentum certainly in their favor, getting the win over the Dodgers in game 2. Now taking it back home. Bobby thinks momentum's in their way, taking the Metsies in 5. Bobby, as always, we appreciate you stopping by with the insight. And for this series coming up, well, game 3 Wednesday. That's going to be from Citi Field. That's at 8:08 Eastern. On game 4 Thursday, that's also coming from New York. Now listen, Bobby Valentine believes that it's going to be 5 games for the Mets, so he thinks this is going to be the finale right here. That's going to be Friday, also coming from Citi Field. It's going to be an exciting series we've got here, but it all starts game 3. Who picks up that momentum?